special thank you to Brett Yormark and to Anthony Cantanzaro. I think two of the hardest working guys in the event business for boxing right now. What they've built at the Barclays Centre is fantastic. A huge thank you to HBO Boxing and to Peter Nelson for their belief, of course, in Danny Jacobs. And also we look forward to a fantastic card on April 28th at Brooklyn. Thank you as well to our UK partners, Sky Sports, Adam Smith and the team who have flown out as well. And as we talk about these two great fights on Saturday night. I'd also like to thank the WBA, Oliver Gomez, Gilberto Mendoza as well. These fights, two world title eliminators, and of course the main event, a final eliminator for the WBA middleweight championship of the world, and a fight with Gennady Golovkin. First of all, I'm going to welcome up to the stage on the challenger side, if you like, and our heavyweight contest. It's a great fight between two very, very hard-hitting, talented, world-ranked heavyweights that are looking to secure their shot at the world heavyweight title. Firstly, I think we have a big round of applause. We saw him in a great fight with Deontay Wilder, won 11 rounds for the World WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World. From France, Johan de Houpers.
Thank you. C'est un honneur pour moi d'être ici aujourd'hui à New York. J'adore les USA. Je regarde les combats de boxe depuis que je suis petit, qui se sont déroulés dans cette ville. Donc c'est vraiment pour moi un rêve d'enfant que je vais réaliser samedi soir.
It's really an honor for me to be here in New York. I've watched and it's really an honor to come to fight here.
J'aimerais remercier Eddie Hearn pour cette opportunité. Je sais que j'en aurais plus maintenant, j'en aurais plus 10. Je me suis préparé très bien avec mon entraîneur Dave Goldberg ici présent. Je suis prêt samedi et je ne vais pas louper ma chance.
I'd like to thank Eddie Hearn for the opportunity because I know I will have 10 more like that. Had a very good training camp with my coach and I'm ready for Saturday.
Merci à tous. Merci. Je pense que j'en ai assez dit et je vous donne rendez-vous samedi.
Thank you all. I think I said enough. I'll see you on Saturday.
Okay, young guy, what this show's called, and there's two reasons for that. A real personality in the heavyweight division, but a fine fighter, coming off two big wins against Gerald Washington and against Marius Wack last time out on HBO. I think the defining fight of Gerald Big Baby's career on Saturday night. A big New York and Brooklyn welcome, please, for Gerald Big Baby Miller.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? You know, I'm home. I'm relaxed. You know, I got my jeans on, my Big Baby T-shirt. You know, it is what it is, man. I'm coming to put work. We're back on HBO again. You know, undercarded for my boy Danny Jacobs. So you know, I got to warm the ring up, put some bodies on the mat for him, and go tune in, man. Just tune in April 28th, man. A lot of talk of my next fight. I ain't worried about that. You know, I'm worried about Johan de Houpers and making a statement come Saturday. And I will take it from there, man. No hard work, dedication, cheeseburgers, man. I'm gonna leave it short and sweet and tune in, you know what I mean? Ooh, sensei. Let's go. Get it cracking.
Thank you, Gerald. A great heavyweight matchup, that one, and a brilliant middleweight matchup as well between, I believe, the best middleweight in the world, Daniel Jacobs, and the undefeated Maciej Sulecki on Saturday night. Just a quick thank you as well, Dimitri Salita. I saw you down there. You were supposed to be up here, but it's a bit tight up here. But thanks a lot for everything that Dimitri Salita and his team have done around this event. It's a wonderful time working with those guys, and we couldn't have done it without them. We also couldn't have done it without this man, the guy behind the boxing on HBO. Again, someone who's a big believer in Danny Jacobs, and of course the middleweight division on fire right now and really opening up. Please, a big round of applause from HBO, Peter.
I want to thank all the press for being here today, in particular our own unofficial scorekeeper, Harold Letterman, who is going to be honored by the Boxing Writers Association in just a couple of weeks. Harold, thanks for joining us. I want to thank the Barclays Center, obviously Brett Yormark. It's great to be back there. I want to thank these fighters and their teams, as well as the many promoters involved, including Warriors Boxing, Dimitri Salita. I also want to give a special thanks to Danny Jacobs' manager, Keith Connolly, for all the hard work making these great events come together. And of course, my man here, Eddie Hearn, and Matchroom Boxing, who always put on spectacular events, top to bottom, including the untelevised undercard. So if you're not going to be watching live on HBO, set your DVR and make it out to the arena for sure. As you saw a little earlier, there are great fights on the untelevised portion as well. I want to thank these fighters on the undercard, the heavyweights you just heard from. This is a great fight, and the heavyweight division is always something fans want to see. Duhapa stepped up to the challenge. Big Baby Miller, I want to thank him and his Atkins diet. I think there's going to be a great amount of action on that fight and also the event. And you know, Danny Jacobs is a great ambassador to the sport, and we feel privileged to have him on our network. And not just his story, but the way he carries himself. And the question is always, in this sport, is there mass appeal for a gentleman in the sport of boxing in the ring? And he's making the case that the answer to that question is yes. But he's got to make that case with a big knockout win on Saturday night. And Sulecki is going to come to fight, and you know it. You'll hear it from him directly, and that's why we saw the appeal in this fight, and that's why we're excited for Saturday night. Our start time is 10 p.m., and we look forward to seeing you all there. Thanks very much.
As Peter said, a wonderful main event, and as I see this man more and more this week, Maciej Sulecki, he makes me a little bit more nervous every day. He looks in great shape, and every now and again you come against a competitor that feels he has nothing really to lose. And I believe he's looking to take this opportunity with both hands on Saturday night, catapult himself to the position to challenge Gennady Golovkin for the WBA world title. And to introduce his fighter, I'm going to welcome Zach Margulis from Warrior Promotions.
Thank you, Eddie. I just want to thank everybody for being here. This is an important press conference. I've been watching fights at Barclays Center for years. My dad, Leon Margulis, has been doing shows at Barclays for years. It's wonderful doing business with Matchroom. This is going to be an explosive card, so everybody needs to come out and watch this fight. The Barclays always has a different feel to it when you're watching a fight. I know all the Polish people will be out to support Maciej. He comes forward. Danny Jacobs comes forward. It's going to be an electric fight. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce my fighter, Maciej Sulecki.
Hello everyone, hello New York. Today is to a big fight, today is to a big test, and thank you very much that you thank you very much, HBO, and thank you to Dennis. And so, I'm ready, I'm healing, I'm very determined, I'm strong, I'm fast, and I'm ready on a very difficult fight. I was very good camp with my coach, Andrew Bidruk, Andrew. I had great sparring partners from USA, from England, and I'm ready, and I can't wait today. Still, thank you very much.
Thank you, Maciej. Excellent English there as well. Well done, thank you. Genuinely, it was fantastic. I couldn't speak Polish. Peter Nelson talked earlier about, is there room for gentlemen in the sport of boxing? And I think absolutely. I think it's always important to have a great ambassador in the sport, a great role model in the sport that the young people coming through at grassroots level can look up to, and parents can look at and say, I've no problem with you wanting to be like this man. And that man, of course, is Danny Jacobs. But I kind of get the feeling this time around, we're going to forget about that man. We're going to see, as sometimes he alludes to, the Brownsville come out in this guy. Because I've got a feeling you're going to see a very special performance from Danny Jacobs on Saturday night. You're going to see the bad man come out. You're going to see a statement being made at the Barclays Centre. And I'll say it again. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This guy is the best middleweight on the planet. And right about now, the middleweight division is splitting up so beautifully. Like, you can almost see it. We've drawn this in our minds, the way that this is all playing out. You know, you've got Canelo, who Canelo. And you've got Gennady Golovkin, who's a wonderful competitor, who's going to be defending his title next week on HBO. They're doing their thing. The winner of this fight will go on to be the mandatory challenger of Gennady Golovkin. But right now, I see Daniel Jacobs as, even at this stage of his career, the emerging star again of the middleweight division. And we're game for all those big fights. Gennady Golovkin, possibly a shot at another title that might become vacant. Mr. Charlo has been running his mouth recently. We loved that fight as well. We all saw what Danny did to him in the corridor of the bar. I think he was still looking for his soul, which he left there that night. But on a serious note, this is a wonderful contest. And I think this is the kind of fight where Danny Jacobs can come out and make a great statement on Saturday night. To introduce his fighter, again, it's wonderful working with people in the sport of boxing and great managers who care for their fighters. And this guy is like family to Danny Jacobs, and I know vice versa, because he busted my balls for one hell of a deal. But it's all good, because he's worth every moment of it. I'd like to introduce, to say a few words on behalf of his fighter, and introduce him, Danny Jacobs' manager, Keith Connolly.
Thank you, Eddie. I don't know if this is a big crowd or just a small room, but thanks for everybody coming. I want to thank Peter Nelson. When he first said that he wanted to sign up Danny Jacobs, he said he was going to make him the star and give him the platform that he needed, and so far I think he's definitely done that, as well as Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's the best promoter in the world in my eyes. He's always out there fighting for his fighters, and he's done the same thing for Danny. It's kind of a weird situation this week. There's not really a lot of trash talking going on. You have two really good guys. Sulecki is a gentleman, and as Peter Nelson said earlier, and Eddie as well, I think Danny's the best ambassador for the sport. He's a guy that people can really look up to. So I'm expecting a really good fight on Saturday, and hopefully everybody makes it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the dais, Danny Jacobs.
Thanks everyone for coming. I want to thank a lot of people. It's not just me I'm representing up here. It's my whole team. My trainer, since I very first started, put on my first pair of gloves, Andre Rozier, the whole team. Scooter, always making sure my strength and condition is on point. I want to thank Matchroom Boxing for giving me the platform and making sure that I can be promoted to the world and get the best opportunities. And also HBO for believing in me even after a very controversial decision. I'm very grateful for that, so thank you. Yeah, I think a lot of people need to understand that boxing is a bad sport in itself, and it's not appealing to parents, right? We know that. And I think guys like myself, guys like Andre Ward, and so many people like that are ambassadors of the sport. But the key is to be a beast inside that ring, and that's what I'm looking forward to doing Saturday night. I have an opportunity of a lifetime. The WBA just mandated me for Golovkin's belt again, so you guys know how vocal I've been about calling these guys out and wanting to get back into the ring, but to no avail. So now mandatory is set in place, but I have to go to a very tough guy, a very skillful guy as well. He's coming from Poland, he's undefeated. He just knocked out Charlo's last opponent. He was the first to do it. And, you know, I have to respect this guy. I'm looking forward to both guys coming forward, not like last fight when we got a bit trash talking and, you know, it was the opposite once we got in the ring. This fight is going to be two bulls coming straight at each other, and it's going to be fireworks. I'm grateful that it's at the Barclay. Can't remember the last time I stepped foot in the Barclay performing, so I'm glad I get a chance to be in front of my home crowd, my home team, and my fans in general. Thank you guys for all that you do for boxing, making it the greatest sport in the world. I look forward to Saturday night, and hopefully I'll see all you guys there. Thank you.
Danny, and thanks to everyone for turning up today, the media particularly. Great night of boxing on Saturday. Do not miss it. We're going to be kicking off around 6:15 at the Barclays Centre, as Peter said, live on HBO from 10 p.m. We're going to have photos up here with the two guys head to head, and then we're going to make our way to the Sunshine, where everybody will be available for one-on-one meetings. Thank you so much for coming. The weigh-in tomorrow, 1 p.m. at the Barclays Centre. We'll see you there. Thank you very much.